Welcome to my high voltage hustle.
Oh my god, 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 oh my god.
You'll see me bid on my parts car. And you'll see this gorgeous mini truck come alive. Well, before you start tearing it apart, stop. I'm Bailey. I'm an educator, builder, and DIYer. And in this series, you'll join me as I rip apart a Nissan Leaf and install its electric powertrain into a 79 Datsun mini truck. I've wired a lot of powertrains, but this will be my first EV swap from start to finish. Come watch me learn as I go and laugh at my mistakes. So plug in, grab some popcorn, and join the hustle. Hi, welcome to my high voltage hustle. I'm Bailey and I work to train DIYers and instructors how to work on high voltage and electric vehicles. In this video, we're gonna dive into the Nissan Leaf. So whether you're looking to buy the Nissan Leaf outright or you're looking to use it as a parts car for a gas to electric repower, we're gonna dive into all the years, models, makes, trims of the Nissan Leaf on the market today so that you can make the best decision on what vehicle is right for you and your needs. Let's walk into some of the specs that I was looking for to determine which vehicle I should buy at auction. So first and foremost, after I decided on the Leaf, I wanted to look into what year of the Leaf that I wanted. So a big factor for me is I wanted a lot of kilowatt hour capacity in my battery pack. So right away, I knew that in 2018, they redesigned the Nissan Leaf to have a larger pack. That also increased the kilowatt hour capacity as well as some more torque options in the inverter so you can get a more amp draw out of my motor. So those are some things that I was looking for right away. Bigger pack started in 2018, so everything before that was out the door for me. Then all of the Leafs are actually front wheel drive. So that was something that I was looking at. I could have done front wheel or rear wheel or all wheel, just something to know. These ones were front wheel, which seemed like an easy job for my first conversion. Then after I decided that I wanted to get into the larger packs, I needed to look at all the trim options from 2019 to 2024 and see what sort of trim option would give me the largest number of kilowatt hour capacity in my battery pack. So in 2019, they added the Plus trim. That also added the bigger pack option. So you could choose to either have a 40 kilowatt hour capacity pack or a 60 kilowatt hour capacity pack. So starting in 2019, check mark, I know that's what I want. So the S on the back emblem is your 40 kilowatt hour capacity, gets about 149 miles of range, and it has about, if you were to equate it, probably 145 horsepower, something like that. So I wanted a little bit more than that just because I want my baby to whip. So that's when I started looking at the SV, the SV Plus, and the SL Plus. So the SV Plus is a 60 kilowatt hour capacity pack. That's going to get you over 200 miles of range. And then that one also had that larger power inverter capacity. So it also had a little bit more horsepower, a little bit more amp draw. So that's what I was looking for there. The SV Plus had the 160 kilowatt motor. So that whips, that's exciting. And then the SL Plus had that extra 2 kilowatt hour capacity pack as well. So, instead of 200 miles of range, you're gonna get 210 miles of range. But really anything above 2019 and newer had over 200 horsepower, had the upgrades I was looking for. I think these are 50 6.3 amp hour pouch cells. I really like the idea of getting pouch cells because if the vehicle I choose, if I can't just like drop the full Nissan pack into it because of size or space constraints, with pouch cells, I can pull them out at the module or even the cell level and rebuild a custom pack, which is going to be easier to do if I had, compared to like the Tesla modules, you can't go down to those lithium batteries and make them at the cell level. But with pouch cells, you have a little bit more flexibility and they're air cooled, which is just easier. Then I'm pretty sure that this pack is a 96S 3P, and I'm hoping if the vehicle I choose has a good enough chassis, I can just drop this down right on the chassis rails and just use it at the whole pack level. Then as far as like looking at the vehicle at auction, as you can see here, it does have some body damage. It looks like it got in some sort of car pileup where it got hit in the back, on the side, and the front. So there's body damage all over this car. However, the airbags didn't even deploy in this vehicle. So it just got a soft tap. Then another thing that I'm looking for that excites me is there's really not, even where there is a missing bumper, there's really not a lot of internal damage. Even the fluid reservoir over there for the coolant that is clearly like underneath the broken bumper doesn't even leak. I don't see any cracks in anything that's important. There's no transmission fluid that's leaking onto the ground. Even the charging area I was a little worried about because it was so close to the front. I thought maybe I might have to get a new charging port. But even this guy seems, as far as I can tell, that everything's going to work functionally well, and I'll be able to recycle that in the new vehicle. So when I was looking underneath, I also wanted to check and make sure that there wasn't any battery damage. Lucky for us, insurance adjusters pretty much write off electric vehicles as total losses just when they get a little bit of body damage, because technicians are too afraid to service and repair them. So they just write them off as total losses for claims. And so because of that, it's hard to tell if there actually is battery damage. So I wanted to go and look at what all the indicators on the dash meant so I could make sure there wasn't any high voltage system malfunctions, because I want to reuse the high voltage system. So I don't really care if the chassis is a little crooked or a piece of the body is broken, because all I'm here for is the powertrain. So I crawled underneath at the auction lot and checked out the underside because I wanted to make sure there wasn't any damage to the batteries. That is the buku bucks of this project, the reason I paid for this car. So I wanted to check underneath, saw that the motor skid plate was coming off while it was at the lot. So I went ahead and just pulled it off so that I could check out the motor. The motor side, like underside of it, everything looks super fine. Looks brand new, honestly. Well taken care of vehicle. And then there was absolutely not even a ding to the overcarriage part of the battery. Like everything looks really great. Pulling up the center console, the high voltage battery disconnect hardly looks like it's ever even been disconnected. So that shows me there probably hasn't been a lot of high voltage service and repair. So there was a lot of really great things I saw about this vehicle and why I wanted to buy it at auction. The other vehicle where I bid on earlier this month was a 2023 SL Plus. So it would have given me that 62 kilowatt hour pack, but it said undercarriage damage. And it was coming from another state, the next state over. So I wasn't able to look at it before I bid on it. And I was really nervous that the batteries were damaged beyond repair. So I set a pretty low budget for that vehicle because I was just like, I'm not going to pay more than $4,000 for a vehicle that maybe doesn't have the battery working properly. Whereas this one, when I checked everything out, not only did it go not have its airbags deploy, but all of the powertrain components of the motor and charging system in the engine bay, everything looked in good shape. Popping underneath, everything in the battery system looked really good, that it seemed like a no-brainer to bet on this vehicle. So super happy that I got it. I can't believe that I drove it off of the wrecker. Like, it's in just excellent condition. So this is what I would recommend when you're looking and shopping for a car at auction is there airbags deployed? Is there undercarriage damage? What dash indicators should you be looking for and what do they mean? And take a look at the actual components that you want to extract and make sure there's no leaky fluid, there's no dents, there's no chips, nothing like that for your perfect EV parts vehicle. And that's it. Now you have a good idea of what year and trim I wanted to use for my electric vehicle parts car. But if you're just looking to buy a Nissan Leaf outright and drive it as your daily, I think a lot of those trim options can be really great. So if you have questions, you can drop it in the chat if there's something that I didn't answer. And then of course, if you want more DIY tips or learn more about electric vehicles in general, then please subscribe to my channel. I would love to see you here. And if you missed my video on why I chose the Nissan Leaf compared to other electric vehicles on the market for my parts car, please go back and watch that video because I do deep dive into like why the Leaf, why did I even choose that Leaf to begin with.